All right, today we are diving into one of the most playful, profound, and just totally rule-breaking novels ever written. I'm talking, of course, about Virginia Woolf's Orlando.
So, let me just ask you something. What if you could live for 300 years? Seriously, imagine the normal rules of life just didn't apply to you. You could watch centuries just roll by, from the court of Queen Elizabeth I all the way up to the 20th century, and you wouldn't age a day.
Okay, and then, what if right in the middle of that incredible, epic life, you just woke up one morning as a different gender, and there's no magic spell, no real explanation, it's just your new reality. Wild, right?
Well, this isn't just some wild fantasy. This is the actual premise of Orlando. And Virginia Woolf uses this mind-bending setup to explore some of the deepest questions imaginable about who we really are. Who are we beyond our bodies, beyond what society tells us, beyond the very time we happen to be born in?
So, inside Orlando's flowing mind, you're probably wondering, how on earth does Woolf make this work? How do we believe this is the same person after 300 years and a sex change? Well, the secret sauce is a literary technique that puts us directly inside Orlando's head.
It's a little something called stream of consciousness. And what that means is, instead of a nice, clean A to B story, Woolf's writing is, well, it's messy. It's designed to feel exactly like our own minds do. This constant, chaotic, flowing river of thoughts, feelings, and memories all jumbled together.
I mean, just think about your own brain for a second. Right now, as you're listening to this, you might also be recalling a memory, daydreaming about the future, and having a sudden emotional reaction to a thought. Woolf just takes that jumbled up, totally human reality and puts it right there on the page.
And by locking us inside Orlando's mind like this, she makes a really powerful point. She shows us that all the external stuff, the historical era, the clothes they're wearing, even their physical body, all of that is secondary. The real self, that inner voice, that consciousness, that stays the same. It's completely unbroken.
Okay, so rewriting the rules of life. Woolf wasn't just messing with our ideas of identity. She was going after something even bigger, how we tell life stories, period. And this wasn't just some abstract idea. Orlando is actually a biography, a very unconventional one, of her friend and lover, the writer Vita Sackville-West. Woolf called her new approach the new biography.
Woolf herself said it best. The essential quality of a person cannot be captured by facts alone. She basically believed that a list of dates and accomplishments tells you what someone did, but it tells you absolutely nothing about who they were. To capture the amazing spirit of someone like Vita, she knew she had to tell the story from the inside out.
So what she was proposing was nothing short of a revolution. A total shift away from traditional biography, dates, facts, public achievements, to something completely new. Her new biography was all about emotions, the inner life, the creative and subjective truth of a person. It's about psychological depth, not just historical accuracy. It's the difference between a textbook and a soul.
And Orlando is just the ultimate example of this. Woolf just gleefully breaks every single rule in the book. The character lives for 300 years, they change gender for no reason, the narrator keeps interrupting the story to joke about how hard it is to write a biography, she mixes real history with pure fantasy. It's all part of this incredible, loving portrait of Vita, who she saw as this timeless person that couldn't be pinned down by one era or one gender.
So her big argument is this: a person's inner, emotional truth is actually more real than a list of historical facts. A life story shouldn't be a dry, boring record. It should be a piece of art. It has to capture the spirit, the consciousness of a person, because that's where you find who they really are.
All right, let's get into the most famous part of the whole book, right? The moment Orlando wakes up as a woman. And this is so much more than a plot twist. It's basically a brilliant social experiment that Woolf sets up to explore what gender even is. And she forces us to ask a huge question. Are the differences we see between men and women actually biological, or are they just rules that society makes up and forces on us? By having the exact same person with the exact same mind live as both, Woolf creates the perfect test case to investigate.
And the results are, well, they're stark. When Orlando is a man, he's got it all. Power, freedom, status. The world is his oyster. He can own property, travel anywhere. But the second Orlando becomes a woman, that world just shrinks. All of a sudden, her legal rights diminish.
There's this immense pressure to conform. There are all these new rules and restrictions that literally didn't exist for her the day before.
And remember, same person, same mind, nothing on the inside has changed.
Just different social rules. Woolf makes it crystal clear that the only thing that's actually changed is how society treats them. The world just slaps a whole new set of rules on Orlando based on their body. It's a really powerful way of arguing that gender, the way we live it, is overwhelmingly a social construct.
And she uses clothing as this brilliant physical metaphor for control. As a man, Orlando wears clothes that let him move, that give him freedom. But as a woman, she's suddenly strapped into corsets and weighed down by these heavy dresses that literally stop her from moving around freely. The clothes become this perfect symbol of how society limits women.
So why does this book, written almost 100 years ago, still feel so incredibly revolutionary? Let's talk about why Orlando still resonates so powerfully today.
When you boil it all down, Orlando is packed with ideas that feel so modern it's almost startling. The idea that your true identity is internal and fluid, that it's separate from your gender. The idea that gender roles are basically just scripts society hands us. That your psychological truth is what really defines you, and that society uses simple things like clothes to keep those rules in place.
Ultimately, what Orlando really gives us is this timeless vision of a self that's totally free from the labels that time or gender or society try to slap on us. It's really a celebration of freedom. It's Woolf daring us to imagine who we could be if we weren't stuck in the boxes society builds for us, whether that box is labeled man, woman, or anything else.
And that leaves us with the same powerful question Woolf was asking all those years ago. A question that's maybe more relevant now than ever. If you weren't defined by your age, your gender, or the time you live in, who would you be? If you could strip away all those external labels, what's left?